think I might have psychological problems.
Oh, good. That clears things up. Thanks.
Oh, it's hard to explain. I've been running for a long time now.
Running? We were special together. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I agree. But things kind of shifted.
But just like completely suddenly. I was so pissed at you. I was so fucking hurt. I didn't get out of bed for a year. Do you realize that?
Jesus.
Hello, listening people.
Hello.
Hello, Bartek. How are you doing?
Doing all right, Ryan Slewinski. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm very happy to be here, even though it is quite warm today as we record. That Aussie summer. We've recorded in so many Aussie summers now.
We started in one.
Yeah, we did. Well,
No, we didn't. Sorry.
No, we did a spring.
Yeah. We started and very quickly it became summer and we did a Christmas episode where we sweat into our eyes.
I think that will be forever the one I think of as the most grueling in terms of heat,
Yeah.
even though I don't think that's true.
There may
I
have
think
been
there's
more, but
been
it's
more,
just-
but it's the iconic.
It's the primacy effect.
One of
You remember the first
our
ones.
first Christmas episode,
And it was-
you were like, the sweat is in my eyes.
Yeah, and I think that was the first episode we did without a guest too. So it's like there's less of us and we're sweating into our eyes.
And the first where I read reviews that I think really, really broke you.
Oh yeah, there was one.
You laughed a lot at the
It's funny because
translated-
one of them, I didn't know anything about Home Improvement, so when they were talking about like Tim Allen and stuff, I was like, why are they bringing him up? This makes no sense to me.
Yes, because the film we're talking about was I'll Be Home for Christmas, and the lead actor was, of course, Simba
Matthew
himself.
Broderick.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick, who was in Home Improvement. He was Simba.
Yeah.
But in Home Improvement, starring Tim Allen. But we're not talking about the Tim Allen smash comedy hit Home Improvement, which Bartek knew nothing about, including the iconic Tim Allen growl sound that comes from Home Improvement. Now you know about it.
Yes.
You can't avoid it now. Even Tim Allen's had to react to the memes about that. But we're here today to talk about a movie that came recommended from someone involved in the podcast. Is it you, the listening people? Yes, you can recommend one, but it wasn't you this time.
No, it wasn't us, Ryan.
It wasn't you this time. It will be you next time. It was Bartek last week, and it was my turn for a film to be talked about for this episode. That's the crazy way we do things here. It's a little film club. We have a little film club. We go around, people say, hey, check this film out, and we'll come back next week, and we'll talk about our experience with it. And I suggested the film Anomalisa from 2015. It came out when we were first starting our podcast because for 2026, we're having the overarching theme that we'll come in and out of like we do with a lot of our little themes. Last year, it was older movies. The year before was Year of the Musical. This one, it is the year, not the year, the time in which we've been doing the podcast and films that came out during that. Hey, did we see Anomalisa? Well, we'll have to talk about that. Or did we miss out on it? Were we aware of it? Or were we too busy talking about Thunderpants? Big possibility. We could have been too busy in our personal life talking about that more so than watching new films.
When during 2015 did it come out? Because we started October.
This was like a December.
Oh, okay. So literally, we were sweating in our eyes when this came out.
Yeah. We could have been sweating in our eyes watching this, but we chose a film so good, I'll Be Home for Christmas instead, which I don't regret. # no regrets.
I still think of that film pretty fondly.
I do too. I grew up with that movie.
I like that bouncing ball in the credits.
I love just Gary Cole as the dad.
Yeah.
The weird use of Gary Cole as a not funny guy.
I love our little jokey observations about like the vulture and the kid that gets stuffed in the locker.
Yeah, it was so good, so good. We remember that so you don't have to.
Yeah, we should just react to that episode of ours.
Yeah, we should do that. A commentary of our commentary to get super meta.
Yeah, we already didn't watch Anomalisa. We may as well not watch it still.
See, what we're doing here is we're being very cerebral, being very meta and clever, because we're talking about a Charlie Kaufman film, everyone. Anomalisa 2015, a film about many things, but seemingly not. It's very simple. It's about a middle-aged guy who goes to a hotel for his business trip, and he has a romantic / sexual entanglement with a woman and feels guilt about it. Or does he? There's more to it, but it's simple on the surface with lots of things underneath. It's a Charlie film, baby. That's what we're doing here today. So if you have not seen Anomalisa, recommend that you do. It is out there. It's a stunning piece of animation. It is stop motion animation. It looks gorgeous, but this is not for children. This is an adult movie. It deals with adult themes. It gives you adult content.
Yeah, there is a sex scene for the kids.
There is a sex scene, not for the kids.
Not for the kids.
Not for the kids. There's a doll at the end for the kids.
Yes.
It has a liquid in it.
Yeah, it sings a children's song.
Oh, that's wonderful. But we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this film, and you better be warned to check it out. Like I said, check it out, or else you're going to get spoiled on more about what was that liquid in that toy. Bartek, do you have any history with this film? Have you seen it, heard about it?
I haven't seen it, and I feel like this is going to be a recurring thing this year. It's a film that I remember hearing the title of here and there repeatedly, but didn't know much about it. So when you recommended it last week, I'm like, oh, I remember hearing that name a bunch, many years ago.
Yes, and
so I interpret that to mean like, oh, so it's one that had like maybe some sort of acclaim or infamy.
And I was in a somewhat similar boat. I was aware of it. I remember that poster a lot of this little stop motion guy wiping the steam off the mirror and looking guilty. I didn't know too much about the filmmaker / writer at that time, even though I had consumed some of his scripts already. But time has marched on, and over the decade, I have seen more of his films, his directed films as well as written, because he's mainly a screenwriter, and then he's gone on to do directing over the years. But I knew very little about this. I just knew, it's a stop motion film for adults. I'll add that to the list. That looks interesting. I like animation, and it's always just been sitting there on the list. And when I was looking at films from each year that has passed since we've covered since we started doing our podcast, I was thinking like, okay, what's a film from each year or film or two? And Anomalisa was straight away one I beelined to when it came to 2015, because I just remembered thinking, man, I keep just delaying that. I love animation. I love, this kind of idea of just like, hey, let's tell this more mature story in a visual style that the West doesn't always do. Stop motion adult animated fare. Let's give it a go. And what a film! What a film! I have a lot to say about it, and I'm still processing a lot of it. I'll say straight up front, I liked the absurdity that was woven through, or the surrealism that was woven through. The very minimal voice cast was a surprise. I didn't expect one guy to do the voice of, as credited, everyone.
As the film went on, I was actively rooting for like, I hope there's not many more voice actors. Like, I want this guy to just be like everyone but two people.
And you got what you wanted. Tom Noonan, thank you for your service of being the voice of everyone.
He even sang some of the songs in the film.
Yeah, he sang the end credits song. It was great.
I think he also did like the operatic song that he listened to on the iPod.
So up front, I just want to say I appreciated that. That was a surprise to me. I didn't expect the film to have that type of humor or that type of surrealism, but it was a welcome surprise. But how did you feel about this movie?
I loved it.
Oh,
this was a really, really good time for me.
Oh yeah, tell us more. I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, I didn't know really anything walking into it. I just knew, it's a stop motion film. I think I saw one or two stills. I'm like, oh, that actually looks pretty lifelike. But seeing it actually, in animation, in motion, it's like, god damn, I cannot imagine making this. Like, I already think like, oh, stop motion just seems like witchcraft to me. And then seeing this film where like the most naturalistic movements are being done in stop motion and reading the trailer, like, yep, we did every frame like that. It's like, I can't even imagine. Like, I was even reading like, I mentioned there's a sex scene in this film and how apparently a lot of reviewers at the time were like, this is like the most, tender sex scene of the year in cinema. Like,
incredible.
Yeah.
Because just to talk about that sex scene for a second, the trivia points out like they spent months and months trying to figure out, like trying to get it right, because they didn't want it to come across as funny, because people are very immature, and it wasn't said in the trivia, but two words hanging over it was Team America in my mind, because that has an iconic sex scene with their puppets that's so ludicrous and silly that if this film didn't treat the sex scene as seriously and as tastefully as it did, you could have made the comparison, but nobody makes that comparison because the film is so restrained.
I am honestly shocked that I never once thought of Team America while watching this.
No, not at all. No, but when I read about the sex scene, I was like, oh, I wonder why. And then I thought, what's a silly sex scene like? And I went, oh, Team America.
Yeah.
Instantly. I'm like, oh, it's Team America.
Yeah,
that would be the worry.
I was reading about how, they wanted to make it so authentic that you would forget that this is stop motion at times. Mm-hmm. And while watching it, like, I obviously knew that it was stop motion the whole time. Like, God damn, this is so believable that I almost just see humans doing this.
The style of the movie is hard to avoid because it's so arresting. There's this naturalism, but with stop motion, there's always a level of, there's always a level of not just the surreal, but there's a artifice there. You know that something is being created in front of your eyes. And the film revels in that because it goes to this extra extent of not only having the designs be super lifelike and realistic, but the characters have outlines that they are masks on their face. And at a certain point, they come off and you see that it's a little doll. And the film acknowledging that not only for the stylistic thing, but the thematic and character purpose of it all is so wise and brilliant. And it did throw me off at the beginning because having seen the poster and all that, I didn't notice like the line across the nose. And around that. So when the film started up and it had that so clearly, I was just a bit taken aback because it's not what I imagined. Yeah, I kept thinking everyone had glasses. Yeah. But then you see it's their whole, like the outside of their face, and it joins up, and it is. They are little dolls. These are masks. It's that extra level of like you could just have like traditional stop motion, like trying to evoke them being people. You don't need to do that, but it's that attention to detail of like, no, for our thematic purpose, these characters are wearing masks. And for an extra pain in the ass for us to animate, we're going to animate the characters' faces being a mask on top of their head. Like, oh my God, I'm rubbing my temples because that's so annoying to think about how much how they had to make that happen, but it pays off. That's the thing. It pays off in the end. So yeah, very, very arresting visual style. Like that realism. My favorite thing about the animation was the clothes, the way that they took off, or when he was running and you see it flapping in the breeze, it just looks so wonderful. And because of the clothes, the way that they're done, the lighting just becomes more warm and natural when we're just having like, a spotlight on him or something like a lamp behind his shoulder. It just gives that extra texture that stop motion brings of like, this is real, even though it's not. Like it's real, but it's artificial at the same time. And the clothes very much helped that. Yeah, I really loved, especially like when he first gets to the hotel, you have this long shot of like, he starts off entering the lobby and checking in, and by the end he's, taking a wee in his toilet in his room, and just seeing them move through the environment and just seeing every single step of the way, all the awkward small talk between the bellboy and him. It's just like, I am in this world. They have so many unbroken shots, and for stop motion, like time is money, especially. And it's so much to do that you can't go back and say, oh, I want to change that, because like, dude, that's months of work to do this unbroken shot. We're going to have to stick with it. And they stick with it, and it always, always works. Like, it is impressive filmmaking as well as animation. Like, this is definitely a case in which you can really sense the cinematography involved, the shot composition, the lighting. It's really good animation. It's really good stop motion animation. The little dolls look great. It's the way that they're framed in the shot, and the fact that the shot does not cut at so many points. It's just going to linger. You're going to see him have awkward interactions. You're going to see him, as you say, take a piss. You're going to see him in the shower. You're going to see him wipe the steam off the mirror, and you're like, just on
Yeah, all the mundane things.
all of the mundane things. So when all of those weird things start to crop up, they feel earned because now it's scary that weird things are happening because everything's been so dreadfully normal.
Yeah, and because you notice very quickly, like, oh, everyone but him is like the same voice.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to also realize, like, oh, they have the same face as well. And I just thought that was like a, stylistic thing. Like, oh, this isn't like, a major plot point or anything, but it's just kind of funny that everyone has the same, very like kind of calm voice, even though they're all playing different characters. Like when it's a woman, like they have a certain, character to them that's like, oh, this character is fed up with you. They have a history with you. Form a relationship. But then you have all these professionals, like, a taxi driver who's like trying to make chit chat, the professional at the reception, the bellboy,
the head of the hotel.
Yeah. And you just start to get a real sense of like, oh, all these characters are different, but because they sound the same, they do kind of bleed together. And then as the film goes on, there's even like a fake out twist with that at one point, but eventually it does reach a point like, there is a purpose behind this. It's not just for, funny.
Every character from our main guy's point of view is demanding something of him. They need something of him, or they are insisting he should do blank, and he doesn't want to. He wants them to do something for him instead, but it's that thing of he is a person that resents transactional relationships, even though that's what he craves to have himself is a transactional relationship. Even though he wants them to be real relationships, he inherently can't have them because once he has them, he now disassociates from it and says, this is boring to me, or I can't handle it, and on it goes like that. So yeah, very, very clever movie, very clever in its writing, in its execution. I want to talk about those performances, though, because these three actors, they're actors. They're not voice actors. They're like, usually live action performers. We have Tom Noonan, as we said, who is the voice of everyone except for two of the characters, our main guy and Anomalisa herself. Tom Noonan is just one of those working actors. He just works in a bunch of things. I've seen him in a couple of things, and I must admit, he's never particularly blown me away when I've seen him, but he's always just been a good actor. He's someone who, in my recollection of the work I've seen of his, is not like a scene stealer, that guy character actor. He's just a solid that guy character actor. He's just there to be reliable. He's not like, like a Steve Buscemi or Harry Dean Stanton or anything where they have like a certain,
like, oh, he's shown up. This is going to be a bit fun.
And what type of characters they're going to play. And like they, even though they're ubiquitous character actor, man, they have an ethos that attaches to them. Not in my experience with Tom Noonan. So him being this voice of basically God in this movie, this existential voice that carries throughout the thing as he takes on different forms. Tom Noonan's performance is excellent because you can just tell, like, for him, this is just really fun.
Yeah.
This is just fun. Like, all of the characters he's playing are rarely ever serious. It's like they're all silly or over the top or overwrought, but he's got such a dry, nasal voice that it kind of evens out in a weird way. It's not like he's doing a cartoony voice, but his voice is mild.
It's kind of soothing
Yeah.
with some of the characters, especially like the bellboy's like, after you, sir.
Yeah, it's very.
Shall I get the ice for you?
Even like when the wife's yelling at him, even then, like, because he's doing a voice, like he's just like, I'm doing the wife voice. How could you? It just there's just a joy to be had of like, okay, how is he going to play this character now? And it's always just, oh, he's going to do it in a degree this way, but not too hard. Just enough.
No, yeah, his I guess most neutral voice in this is just perfect for what the film's going for.
Because when you hear that premise alone of like, oh, there's three voice actors and one of them is the voice of everyone, there could be a lot more, absurdity, whimsy brought out. Like that could be something wonderful in like Mary and Max or something. Like Adam Elliott could have a field day with that type of idea, but it's done so minimally.
Despite not thinking of Team America, I did think of South Park a little bit, where especially in the earlier seasons, like Trey Parker did like most people's voices, and you can tell like, oh, Trey Parker's doing this character right here. It wasn't quite like that where, it was like, oh, it's clearly him, but he's doing a different kind of voice. He does really stick to, his natural sounding voice and just add different inflections.
You always know it's him.
Yeah.
While with Trey Parker, like once you understand what his stuff is, like you can pick it out. But realistically, like he's trying, like because it was a small production at the beginning, South Park, they're trying to make sure they are different characters, but Tom Noonan is like still anchored of like you notice within the first 10 minutes, oh, that guy's the same voice as the cab driver. He's the same voice as the guy on the radio. He's the same voice as the bellboy. It's this is the same voice.
Yeah, I think it was at the hotel where it like really hit me, especially because some of the characters there, like, they're more professional, like, oh, we work at this high-class hotel. So it's like, oh, it's very clear. And also, you guys look the same.
Yeah. And then once you get women involved fully in the story and there's a guy's voice coming out of their mouth, like with the wife.
Like, part of me was thinking, like, oh, this is just going to be a natural thing. But then I was like, oh, maybe this film's going to fuck with me. And, like, a voice over the phone that I assume is a woman is actually a man or something. But
his son, who's an adult man's voice.
Yeah, but the film never goes to that kind of twist. It goes for a different kind of one. But, yeah, it was fun, like, being on my toes. Like, oh, how am I being played here?
And then we've got, of course, Anomalisa herself, one of the other voices, Jennifer Jason Leigh. Always great to see her pop up. She's a good actress. I think of her from The Hateful Eight, honestly. In more recent films, she's awesome in that movie. She's a real piece of shit in that movie, but she's great. And she needs to be the most human character in this movie because Michael, even though, like our main character, Michael, even though he's a very human character, he's also very detached. He's very apathetic about things. And so Jennifer Jason Leigh needs to come in and bring the heart and the warmth of the film. And I think she does a very sublime job of that. It just feels so easy. And once like you hear her voice, like another person's voice, because you don't get Anomalisa or Lisa for a good while in the movie. It takes like a little bit of time. Once she comes in, it is like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, now I'm truly feeling what Michael's feeling of like, oh, an actual person.
Yeah, not only a different voice, but a female voice.
The only
female voice in the film.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, a person. Oh, great! We can have a connection now with someone, and that's just on that clever meta level. That's brilliant. But then, Jennifer Jason Leigh, she does just a very like sublime job. Like you feel for her. Like all of her awkwardness feels genuine. Super,
super genuine, and even acting opposite him, like the Michael character, he is making like, these requests of like, oh, I need to hear you speak. Can you make noises? And like, she is a little bit like, oh, are you like a pervert or something kind of thing? But like, you kind of buy into it. Like this character is actually kind of a real sweetheart. And then you see that break down the next day and, it leads back to the whole tragedy of this character. There's something wrong with him and he doesn't understand it.
And then her voice is slowly overtaken by Tom Noonan.
Yeah,
one of the best scenes of the film.
Yeah, that was pretty heartbreaking.
It was.
He makes this big declaration, this big, commitment of like, I'm going to leave my wife and I'm going to be with you. It's like, firmly set in stone. He's convinced her, and then, her voice is changing and he's realized like, oh no. Oh no, it's happening again. It's happening again. I just made this commitment.
That's the word, commitment.
It's awkward, it's heartbreaking, and you get the point of the film there.
And with the voice taking over, like it doesn't fully take over. You still hear her. That was the thing. It's like it's not like she fully switches to Tom Noonan now. It's like, oh no, Jennifer
like
Jason
simultaneous.
Leigh it's at the same time, and they're fighting for volume. But it's not it's not a scary moment in that way, because it could be like that could be a really like good horror moment, because there are some kind of horror-esque moments without being like strict horror. It's just like, oh, this is upsetting. But that was one where it's upsetting in that way you're talking about, of like, oh god, our character's central flaw is taking over the narrative now, and he can't help himself.
And it's a really slow process too. Like, you know, they're speaking at the same time. You know, Jennifer Jason Leigh and the other guy voice, the everyone else voice.
Yeah, Tom Noonan.
And there is like a level where like he's getting louder and she's getting quieter, but it like sticks at a certain balance for a really long time. It's like, oh, is he going to overcome in a way? Thinking it's like, you're not optimistic, but like maybe, and no.
And then we have Michael, played by David Thewlis. I'm sure you're familiar with this actor, of course.
Yes, he was Lupin in Prisoner of Azkaban. We did that on the podcast.
Excellent actor, wonderful actor. I was actually genuinely surprised and pleasantly surprised again that he was allowed to do his British voice in this, because there's nothing necessarily in the movie to have him be British, but it does come up a lot. It does come up a lot. It's like it's a big part of it, but you don't need it to be a part of it, but it is there, and I think it just adds to the comfort in this performance, because just David Thewlis doing what he does. He doesn't have to put on some different accents, and it does make the character feel more of an outsider.
Yeah, because everyone else has an American accent.
Everyone else has an American accent, and everyone's treating him like he doesn't understand what America is, even though he lives here.
Yeah.
You know, he lives here. And there is like an awesome like disconnect as well, where it's like when at the end, again, people watch the film, at the end when he comes home to his very American household with his son dressed in the very, like everything's very American. And you look at him and you know he's not supposed to be here, but this is where he's settled. This is where he is. Because he's too afraid and too self-centered to actually do anything with his life. And so he's going to make it miserable for everyone, including himself. And so he'll settle into his, suburban American household at the end, because he's afraid of commitment, even though he is committing to something at the very end. And David Thewlis just has that dry British voice where you just feel this sardonic is the word I would use to describe just how the lilt of his voice is. There's just a certain, sarcastic tone to him, but when he needs to be something else, he can. But his natural state in this character is like whenever he's interacting with other people, they're lesser than.
Yeah, it's like it's a defeated, but he's got a job to do kind of thing. So let's pep it up a little bit.
He's defeated, but he's better than them.
Yeah.
Like, the cab driver's going to talk to me. I can't do anything about this, but also, I know these things. I'm better than him.
Yeah,
it's like,
there's a couple of characters in this film where he gets impatient with them, but he never snaps at them. He just, gives the usual pleasantries of like, yes, of course, I know.
And Michael is a character that makes you want to peel your skin off with how awkward and devastatingly awkward he is. The interaction he has with his ex that he brings to the hotel and then is just awful is not the word to describe, but he is truly abhorrent to her in that scene, and it is through just social awkwardness that he's abhorrent to her. It's not like he's trying to be cruel to her, but he can't help but make it so like I want to rip my nails out rather than keep engaging with this conversation type dynamic.
Yeah, when he says that he doesn't understand what's wrong with him, like as you watch the film, you believe it. It's like, oh yeah, he really is just like lost in his self-understanding.
He's trapped in a cycle as well, because at least I can speak for myself, but I do, by the end of the film, understand what he is like and what he's about and why he is operating the way he does, but he does not. He's an unlikable person, but he's an engaging character. That's the way to describe him in my book. Like, I didn't find him a particularly sympathetic character, but I found him an understandable character. Like, I know, I get the mindset, but he does things and he says things and he goes about things in ways that I object to. But that does not mean I don't like him as a character.
Yes, he's compelling.
He's a compelling, and it's a compelling character case because this is a movie. Yeah, we have all of this stuff dressing it up, the gorgeous animation, all of this wonderful acting, all of these artistic choices we're talking about. But this is a story about a guy who is trying to abandon his family and cheat on his wife. And when you cut it down to the core of that, why is that compelling? Why do you want to spend time with the guy who would do that? And then the guy who's too cowardly to do that, because the film also he treats it like that himself. Like, oh, I can't even commit to that. And it's like, why is that something worthy? And it's because of all of these things, and there's an intention there. And the film doesn't want you to wholeheartedly shed a tear for him. The film does have judgments about him. It does condemn him.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching it, I was waiting for the big conversation about I'm married, I have a kid, and, because of this, I'm probably either going to just be cheating or, I'm going to have a divorce or something like that. Like, I thought that might end up being like a sort of third act breakup or like a reveal. They're like, oh, I'm married, by the way. Oh, what? How could you? I'm not going to be an accessory to cheating. But no, the film, works up to it and treats it with some maturity. It's like, oh, I don't really want to break up a marriage, but, this is, a new relationship for me that, I think is worth it, kind of thing. And when you do, because I hadn't heard of the syndrome that he has. Like, it doesn't get mentioned.
Only in the hotel's name.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it before, and I didn't know it was a syndrome until I was reading up afterwards, and all the reviews were talking about it like it's a known thing. But
I knew of it, but not the name.
Yeah, like you said, the hotel's named after it. But in the film itself, it explains what it does to him. Like, all the voices start to sound the same. Everyone starts to look the same, and that's why.
And they're against him.
And they're against him, and that's why he is a depressed character. Like, as I came into that understanding, I kind of stopped, not 100%, but I kind of stopped being on the side of like, oh, you should be faithful to your relationship, because it was such an understandable issue he was having, and it led a perfect explanation to why he was attracted to her. Like, this is actually someone different, even if her singing isn't amazing, which it was pretty good, actually.
It was very nice.
But his obsession with her voice, and him starting to get annoyed with like the weird mouth movements that she's doing while eating. Like, I actually really, really bought into why he was into her, and when she became like everyone else, it's like the perfect rug to pull under you to just ruin everything.
And these things affect him. When he starts to look in the mirror, there's moments where you see his face model start to like glitch out and morph and change, and then it snaps back into what he is. And even he's worried that he himself is turning into an agent against himself.
Yeah.
There's the bit where he's running down the corridor, and I say this not just because we covered the filmmaker, but it did make me think of it, where he's running down the corridor and he became Paprika for a moment and his face fell off. And it felt like Paprika. It felt like a Satoshi Kon moment. Like, I would love to have seen Satoshi Kon tackle this movie. And I say that with complete sincerity in my heart. But, like, we just did Millennium Actress. And, like, I was just thinking about, like, that was a film that studied, like, a central character whose memories and, like, commitments to things and all of that. But it, very different. But there was... so you mentioned the syndrome. Yes, there's the syndrome, the name of the hotel. Yeah, the name of the hotel's that. And what I want to just stress as well, which is sometimes with film and readings of stories, it can be a make it or break it thing when you boil it down to a character has this condition or the story is blank. Like the metaphor is this. A great example is Darren Aronofsky's Mother, where it's like Mother is a weird movie It's very surreal. It's very atmospheric, but it's not interpretative because there is a specific what thing it's doing. And once you know that, it really lessens the impact of the movie. It takes the venom out of it. Like that movie, Darren Aronofsky will just tell you, yeah, it's this, blank, it's that. And once you know that, it's hard to avoid it. And it actually makes it less interesting. It's a classic David Lynch thing of like, he doesn't want to tell you what the movie's about, because it's more fun for you to figure it out and for you to have a connection with it. And what I think is a tricky thing with this movie is it does tip its hand a little bit too much of like this syndrome is a thing that this character most likely has. And it lessens for me more so like the interesting character study, because like, yes, I can still connect with this character and say, oh, I could have this within me, or I've had this within me, or whatever. But then there is a bit of a wall up of like, but he also has a syndrome I know I don't have. And so that can be the tricky thing, because, you know, like, that's what I mean. Like, the film rides the line where it depends on the viewer. Like, I didn't really think of this stuff until we started talking about it as something that affected me. And a movie that came up in my mind that handles this brilliantly is Vampire's Kiss, where, you know, there's a reading of that movie of like, does he have rabies? But the film doesn't tip its hand so much that you can only say, oh, he has rabies.
Yeah, I remember a couple of weeks ago we were chatting with a friend and you brought up the rabies thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I did not remember that at all.
Yeah, and then, see, but that was one of the major things we talked about. Was like, isn't that a fun aspect of the movie? It all
just came back to me.
And I'm a bit iffy on this film with that, of like, it does feel a little bit too much like the film is saying like, yeah, this character has this thing.
I suppose, but I think this film kind of gets away with it because his response to it, it's not really so much a behavioral thing on him, and the emotional response he has. Like, once you lay out, like, you know, these are the issues he's having, it makes sense why he would feel disconnected from everyone. So, you know, you can even treat that as like an allegory for loneliness or something.
And I don't disagree. That's why I'm in that iffy zone with it, because I had that experience while watching the movie. But then taking a step back and seeing like how concretely the film is playing with this syndrome, it's like, oh yeah, I wonder how it will feel. That's the thing. Feel on a rewatch, I
guess. But also, like I said, like the film never mentions that it's a syndrome.
No.
Like, I didn't know it was a thing until after I finished watching it.
No.
So, you know, you can very easily just say like, oh, this is the specific weird issue he's having.
Yeah, it does and doesn't, because it does go through, like, not only shows you, but he does talk specifically about all of the symptoms of it.
And the name of the hotel.
And he's saying that he knows that there's some actual problem with him, not just like, I'm a person with a problem. Like, he knows that there's some diagnosis he's not had. And so, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I still enjoy this movie. I still get a lot out of it. This is the thing about this writer/director. I always have this barrier with him when it comes to his directed work, as well as some of his written work. I'm pretty sure. Have you ever experienced any Charlie Kaufman movies?
I think this is my first one.
None of his written films. He did Being John Malkovich.
Oh, I have seen that, yeah.
And once you know that, this film makes a lot more sense that it's the same guy who wrote that film with the guy who wrote this film.
Yeah, there are similarities.
There are similarities. Even the bits of a guy takes over an entire scene. Like John Malkovich taking over an entire scene.
It's been a little while, but yeah.
Where John Malkovich becomes a woman. Yeah. And he has a very dry voice.
Gotta watch that film again.
Yeah, what a film. What a film. Yeah, he wrote Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah,
Adaptation, talking about Nicolas Cage.
I've heard that's good, but I haven't
That's
seen
excellent. And then his directed films, there's this, there's...
he did Synecdoche, New York.
Synecdoche, New York, which Tom Noonan was in. And after this, he did, what is it? I'm thinking of Ending Things, which is another weird one. And like he's done a plethora of things. But
I think maybe I heard of this film because YMS maybe brings it up a bunch, because he's brought up a lot of those films you mentioned quite a bit.
And he's a director/writer. Like, once you know what his stuff is about, it becomes very apparent what movie you're going to be watching, because those things recur very much.
Okay, because I'm finishing...
Go.
So I was going to say, finishing this film, I'm like, I'm kind of keen to check out more of his stuff.
I think you would enjoy. For me, there's just like the barrier of the emotional versus the intellect, because sometimes with him, especially his directed stuff, the intellectual stuff is too much than the emotional stuff. It's like, I want to feel more emotionally connected, but I feel a little bit too much of the, aren't I clever? It wasn't that intelligent of me, what I've done here. This film less so than the others, but it does have that whiff of it to me in a weird way. But then other directors in charge of his scripts can really bring something out, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. A part of why that film is so great is because the director, Michel Gondry, is such an emotional driven director that he takes this very intellectually stimulating sci-fi concept about dealing with memories and the mind and brings it to an emotional, complex point. And so that's why that film like really hits. There's certain writers like that where it's like, you're really good at like this like clever thing, but you need someone who maybe understands how to bring the heart out more. But I found like Anomalisa out of like Charlie's own work to be the most emotionally resonant that I've found. So, you know, I will give it that. Like, it doesn't have this problem as much, but like I'm just venting about like this has been my issue with him in the past with some of his films. Even Being John Malkovich is one where I enjoyed, but a part of me is like, yeah, very, very clever, very cute. And I don't say that in a truly condescending way, but in a way that's just like, it holds me back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like that with Wes Anderson sometimes, where it's like, sometimes like I'll get something like Grand Budapest Hotel or, you know, Moonrise Kingdom, and I'm like, oh man, great. And then I'll get other movies where I'm just like, yeah, you're being very clever. I see what you're doing.
Right.
We've had this debate before about
Yes, yeah.
Wes's work. But yes, this is, Charlie's not to that extent, but he's a lot drier too. So there's that. Anything else you want to say about the movie? Any sequences or moments or themes?
I like the toy shop scene.
Oh yes, very pivotal scene.
Yeah, it starts off as like a, you know, oh, there's a toy shop not too far from the hotel, with in quotes, so you know where he's going for. But then he goes there anyway, and he still buys a toy for his son. Toy, in quotes. Yeah, and speaking of that, there was trivia, people talking about how there was a reading of this film where, oh, the girl wasn't actually real. She was the sex doll that he bought from the sex shop.
There's a lot of concrete evidence to that effect, which I don't know how I feel about that. That was one I did not get, and then when I saw that, it made me groan in the way that I was just describing, like, oh, very clever, Charlie.
See, for me, I just didn't buy into that theory at all when I read about it, because the explanation that the film gives on the surface is more, you know, it makes sense, it's cohesive with everything else we see about how people he actually knows blur together. It's not really a film about him making up people. And then you have that ending scene where it's like, oh no, she's real, and look, her friend, she even has a real face, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the weird thing of, is it that he is attaching this face to this doll? Because the doll has
like the same scar or something.
Sings the song, like the song is sung in Jennifer Jason Leigh's voice.
Yeah.
From both, obviously, when there's a comment about like, obviously she knows Japanese.
Yeah, she was talking about the languages that she likes, and she's like, Japanese, obviously.
Yeah, things like that. And I know I'm not trying to be crude here, but the most damning thing for me that could sway me, why I say could, I don't want to be swayed because I don't like it. Like, it's a thing where I could really, I believe it. I do believe she is the doll, but I don't want it because I think that's annoying. In that way that I was just lamenting about this director / writer. But the thing that sways me is the semen. The semen that's in it. That sways me because he fucked the doll / Anomalisa herself. And we saw that, and it's probably his semen. And I'm just like, okay. That's why, on top of all of those other things, I don't know what the point of it is, other than to say, like, even the most genuine connection he has is actually fake because it's materialistic. Like, he fell in love with a literal sex doll. That's how disingenuous his connections with other people are. That's what, like, and I guess that's like that is a good, like, that's an interesting thing to do, but I just can't help but want to reject it because it feels very M. Night Shyamalan cheap. Like, ooh, did you not see? She's actually the doll, and they're all dolls, and they're all wearing masks, and like, the more I'm saying it, the more I'm like, it is that, isn't it? It is that she's the doll.
But she has a friend. So what was the friend?
What are any of them?
Like, this isn't a film where if you watch back, it's like, oh, the friend never actually acknowledged Jennifer Jason Leigh's character. Like, they straight up have conversations.
But the Anomalisa that he fell in love with and had sex with.
Oh, so
she's not real.
So she wasn't brought back to the room.
Yeah, that's what I'm interpreting.
Oh, right.
I don't even know if the Anomalisa that he had a proper relationship was truly real, or if it is a person and he's amalgamated the face to the doll. Because she does have. When does he notice the scar on her face?
When he brings her to his room, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I like that. As we're saying this, our heads are getting lower as we're talking about it. Because you look like you don't like. You just said that you didn't.
It's just not a theory that I really buy into, just because of all the stuff that I did see in the film, and also the problem he's actually having.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just have a twist like, no, he was deluding himself. That it reads very much like those people that really don't like it was all a dream kind of endings.
Yeah.
Like, the on the surface interpretation that I have, like, there's nothing from that detracts from that. Like, it makes sense that, he has this feeling like real relationship with a real woman there, and then that breaks apart.
Yeah.
It's not like, the Joker twist of like, oh, he was never dating that woman, he was just fantasizing. Like, in that film, that's like a sad twist of like, oh.
And it's the most ridiculed part of the movie of Joker.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And with this, it's like, oh, that wasn't real. It's like, well, no, even if it was real, there is a tragedy there. Don't make it fake.
Don't make it fake. Yeah, but I think it is. I think it's just that extra level of like, there is no lesson to learn. As he says, that's the lesson. There is no lesson to learn. And a part of, and if you apply that with her being a doll, that just further like hammers in that viewpoint from the main character that there is no lesson to learn. That's the lesson.
I think it's just fine to have it be another example of a tragic cycle.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like I'm being antagonistic, but I'm succumbing to like, I do actually think that reading is probably the reading of the movie, even though I personally don't want that.
No, I understand what you're saying.
This is the thing about like this movie is I enjoyed it very much. I had a grand time for what it is. I enjoyed the surreal humor. One of my favorite bits was when he went to go see the hotel manager and like the awkward like drive the golf cart. No, not there. Watch out for the fucking hole in the ground that's there.
I did want to mention also, that dream sequence where, that's like the fake out twist of the film of like, oh, the reason why everything is so weird is because he is in this nightmare realm where everyone is literally a horde that, is in love with him. And then you have you literally do have the it was all a dream thing. And then you can go for like the actual reveal of the film. And like, I actually bought it there.
Yeah. But there are weird dreamy things throughout the movie that aren't explained as dreams. Like one of them, like that connects to that, was when he takes Lisa out of the... when no, it's not when he takes her out of the room. It's when like he is convincing her to come with him to his room. So because there is two moments where like there is, remember he runs in and tells her like, oh, they're trying to kill you. That's a fake out dream.
Yeah.
The moment where he actually brings her back into his room, he's talking like, oh, I'm sorry to the friend. Like, I hope this isn't rude. And the friend says, very similar to the dream as a piece of like comfort for Lisa to do it is, no, go with him. He's stunningly beautiful. Who wouldn't want him? And you look at him and you go, no one would actually say that.
I guess, but those two are like admirers of his. So.
That's how you can say it. Like, that's how the counter, right? That's the counter. But I'm saying like that line of dialogue could basically be in that nightmare dream sequence and it wouldn't be any different. So there's credence to like this weird world he lives in. But one of the scenes we need to at least talk about is he's here for a reason at this hotel.
Yeah,
He has a speech to give.
Yeah, he's a like business customer relations guru kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a book about like, you know, how to be the perfect customer service person.
It's about relationships.
Yeah, and everyone who's read the book, I mean, like one person in real world, one person in the dream was like, oh yeah, after I read your book, you know, workmanship up 90%. Like we became super successful. You're a genius at this.
And it's about relationships, about connection. It's about commitments. And then his speech is about trying to do all that, but he himself is going through a breakdown.
The breakdown. And he's like constantly teetering between like the speech where he's saying all these platitudes and him, you know, talking about how he's messed up and he needs help. And then going into a rant about, you know, the Bush era, because this is set in like 2005 or something.
Yeah. We saw the picture on the wall in his dream of Bush in the
as an
hotel.
everyone else Bush.
Yeah. I really thought a great acting detail in that breakdown was you could hear the smile. As he states, you could feel and hear that smile even when he's saying some of the lines about like, I'm in trouble. I need help. And you could feel a smile.
Oh, yeah, I could feel it there for you.
Yeah, it was really great to tie into what he is presenting himself as and what's actually going on. This film is just feel like covered with just glory but mundanity. Like, look at this luscious shot, look how stylistic it is, but also here's the mundane thing of him putting on his pants and then he's going to answer the phone. Like it's got but the great leveling out of surrealism, maximalism, but also slice of life, mundanity, anxiety. Like, this film is less than 90 minutes long. And it feels longer, but it also doesn't. Like, this film is short. It's a stop motion film. It better be short.
I think it was just straight up 90 minutes.
But once you hit the credits, you go, that was an hour and 20.
No, Ryan, the credits were also stop motion.
The credits did, I mean, I will count them because they had a song that still played the narrative of the movie.
And if you listen all the way through, like, it eventually gets drowned out by, you know, chatter of everyone else.
Yes. Everyone else, even though everyone is singing the song. It was I like the movie. I'm glad to hear that you really loved it. I was curious of what you were going to take from this, because I thought you're going to be bowled over by the animation, that's for sure, but I was wondering, like, I don't know what Bartek's going to make of this very specific mood of a film, because this is a mood movie.
I watched this one like really late at night, like midnight or something, and part of me was like, oh, should I just wait till the morning? But no, I was in.
Anything else to say about Anomalisa?
I think we got it.
I'm happy with this. I would recommend this. I do wish I saw it when it came out. I do like.
Sorry, was this a Netflix thing or was this theaters?
So, I think it was a thing of it released very minimally in theaters, but it was a straight to but then fairly quick to streaming. I think in Australia we didn't get it at all.
Yeah,
because it was on Netflix for a time, but I think that changed because it's a Warner Brothers, I think, or
I think
Paramount.
It was Paramount. That was the logo. Yeah.
Paramount.
But then there was also like a whole credits section for Kickstarter backers.
Yeah, we need to talk about the Kickstarter backers, because this was a crowdfunded movie. It was supposed to be a short film.
Yeah. I was reading the trivia.
It was 40
like
minutes.
Partially crowdfunded.
Yes, partially crowdfunded.
Like it's Paramount, yeah.
Yeah, and then you see in the some of the crowdfunding people, like legit people of the business as well, like creative peers, like Pendleton Ward was one of the people.
I saw that one of the special thanks was Justin Roiland.
Yeah, Justin Roiland, BJ Novak, like a bunch of comedy people, animation people, just industry people as thanks and backers, which is because this is a case of, it is actually insane to think about this. Like, we said briefly at the end of our last discussion, like, oh, how haunting of a thing that this has only gotten worse. Like this idea of like this master storyteller having to go like with their cap in hand begging for money to be able to make movies, and now they're going straight to streaming or limited theatrical runs. You'll never get physical releases of this. And this is just an example of like, this is a writer who's given us some of the greatest films, like some really great movies, really acclaimed, award winner, like very beloved, and he had to get a Kickstarter to make this movie. And then that got attention because of things, how it snowballed.
Like when they hit a Kickstarter goal, they like doubled the runtime of the film. It was meant to be like 40 minutes and went to, almost 90.
When is this going to happen to Scorsese? Like, are we going to be at a time where he has to get a Kickstarter for his movie to be made? Like,
how old is Scorsese?
He's old enough. But like, he's had to like beg Netflix to let him make a movie or Apple to let him make movies. Guillermo del Toro just made a Frankenstein and they had to beg to get it some theatrical release. And even more new filmmakers like Rian Johnson had to like demand and put his foot down and almost lost his deal for the new Knives Out movie to be a theatrical release. Like, these are very scary times. Like, it made sense with like in the pandemic times, right? The pandemic. But see, that shifted a lot of things. But you go back to 2015, here we are with Anomalisa and Charlie Kaufman, and his next film was straight to Netflix. Didn't get any theatrical release. Didn't get any nominations for things because it did not have a theatrical release. Which, boy, oh boy.
Maybe big Hollywood's just going to wake up at some point like, what are we doing? We need to give everyone films. And then it's like a non-issue.
No, they just burn our DVDs. They come into our houses and give them the old book burning treatment. They said only streaming for you. Digital purchases which won't last because we can delete them at any point.
Oh no, what am I going to do in this world without piracy?
Yeah, they'll figure a way out. But it is insane to think about like a decade or so ago, this was an anomaly. Not to just pun on the title there, I didn't mean that, but like, this was like an odd thing. Oh, that's strange. And now you look at it and go, oh, that's unfortunately normal. Unless you're Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. And this was nominated for an Oscar too.
Yeah.
It lost to another film that we did on the podcast.
Inside Out, which Charlie Kaufman and the other person involved, Duke, I'm forgetting their name, went on record of saying they did not like that film.
But both are about emotions.
They're both about emotions. What a time. But that is it. I recommend. You recommend.
Wholeheartedly,
yes. Did you like the Japanese involved? You're at the moment learning Japanese.
Yeah, I was trying to pick out like, what's going on here? Is she like saying something sexual? But then I heard like Momotaro-san. I'm like, it's like a children's song.
Which makes it weird. The sex toys singing a children's song.
Yeah, like it'd be the equivalent of it was singing like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something. I know that they were saying like agemasu yo, and that means like let's give. I'm like, is that like a let's give a sexual service? But I'm like, no, it's a children's song.
And then the goddess, she says, isn't correct.
It's just made up.
It's just made up.
Yeah.
Because fuck you.
Like the trivia was like, maybe she was talking about Amaterasu. Like
she wasn't.
No, they have like 5 of the same letters, but no.
No, she's full of shit.
No.
A detail I thought was well done during the sex scene was when they were taking the clothes off and whatnot. Her panties did not match her bra. I just like that extra attention to detail. Like they were different colors.
Okay, yeah.
I just thought that was a neat detail of just like, it's a regular person. It's not like, she's wearing the sexy
color-coded
pink color-coded lingerie or anything. She's just like a frumpy, person. So is he. And just, it was very nice detail and tastefully done. We talked about the sex scene at the beginning, but it was very well done. Like I did. Yeah. It was so funny because, afterwards when I was reading that trivia, I was like, oh yeah, it's fucking Team America they're worried about, weren't they? The trivia should just say they were scared about doing a Team America. But that is it. Now it is time to hear what the listening people's recommendation is.
Yeah, we're going to be quiet now and let the listening people say it.
Listening people? Oh, you want to choose that? That's unfortunate. So, we're going to be doing a pick from one of our friends. We got a few recommendations. I said, hey, we are covering films from this era of time. Anything tickle the fancy, and independently of one another, we had a friend Stefan earlier, like last year or year before, recommend a movie.
Yeah.
And then our friend Reese also recommended this film or franchise of films.
Yeah, pretty recently.
And I was like, fine, we're going to do it. But since this is the deal, they both recommended the Meg 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Reese just said the Meg films.
Okay.
So we'll do the Meg, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So then later in the year, we can do the Meg 2. So we don't get lost on the lore. We don't want to get lost on the Statham lore. Plus, if the film's got a 2 in the title, like the Meg 2, The Trench, or whatever it's called, it feels weird to not discuss the first film in mind. So I'm glad
we've done 2s though, like Wolf Creek 2.
We did. Well, that was different. That's an unappreciated masterpiece. That's a
true.
different kettle of fish.
Show.
Doom 2 is where we can talk about someone selecting a 2 without selecting the 1.
I like Doom 2.
You like Doom 2? That's fine. It didn't help me, but it was fine.
I don't think you needed to watch it.
You say that? You know what? I'm going to recommend Doom 1 at one point and see how I feel about
that
it.
was before we started the podcast, even though it's a loose theme, so you can pick it anyway.
I could be like you. I could just go like,
go ahead. It was an okay film from what I remember.
I have the DVD somewhere with a very awesome gay poster. So they look very, very flamboyant and look like they just came out of a leather daddy bar. So I love it. But no, we're going to be talking about The Meg, starring Jason Statham.
Is it a horror film?
It's a shark film.
Shark film, okay.
It's a megalodon shark.
Oh,
something.
Okay.
I don't know much. I saw the trailers for this and people tried to treat it as, a new good, bad schlock film. And then no one grabbed onto that, but then they made a second one. I don't know anything about it other than like it's Jason Statham versus a big shark. And that's all you need. We haven't seen the Statham in a bit, right? We haven't seen Statham in a little bit on the pod.
Have I ever seen a Jason Statham film?
Well, has he ever been on the pod? I was going to say,
what's he been in? Was
he in? No. Yeah, that's a great question. Well, who's in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? We haven't done that. Actually,
I have seen that, I guess.
Yes, that's an iconic. That's actually a good question. We'll find out next time on the pod if we've ever had Jason Statham on. I feel like we have.
I just need to see what films he's been in because I can't.
Yeah, he's bold British man. I feel like we have, but if we're going to realize, is this our Jason Statham cherry about to be popped? Tune in next time as we confirm that. But until then, where can people find us, Bartek?
You can find us on internet. You can find us specifically at places like Facebook, where we have a page called Spit and Polish Presents. The Twitter or X.com. The account's also Spit and Polish Presents at Spit Polish Pre.
Mm-hmm.
We have a YouTube channel where you might be listening to this right now. Spit and Polish Presents. We've uploaded every single episode onto that. And if you want to contact us directly, you can do that at spitandpolished@gmail.com. If you have a recommendation for a film that we could potentially cover every third episode, like next episode, contact us in any of those ways. If we see the comment, we will chuck it on the list.
Chuck it on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tease. Statham was in Red Faction 2, the video game. We haven't covered that, but I just want you to know that he did a video game at one point.
We've covered video game films, not video games.
He was in the first Call of Duty game. There you go.
Okay.
Isn't that wonderful? But we haven't done games. We've done game movies. It feels like he should have been in Doom. I know he wasn't, but it feels like he should have been. That's one where it's like, oh, that would make if you like. They
gave the money to The Rock and Rosamund Pike.
Why wasn't he Hitman? He's like a bold guy.
Well, they had to get T. Baggarelli.
T. Baggarelli. He wasn't the Hitman in Hitman.
No, but he was in the film.
He was. That's true. And
Timothy Oliphant was the Hitman.
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant was the Hitman. But that is it. Thank you all so much for listening, people.
Listening people, right?
Bartek and I have been also having fun on Yum Yum Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
the podcast that I host with my wife, in which we talk about science fiction television. Bartek's been joining us to talk about the Starfleet Academy show, which stars Paul Giamatti, everyone's favorite actor. And so you can find on Yum Yum Podcast those episodes. We've only released one so far, but we're going to be every fortnight. We'll come in, cover a couple of episodes of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. So if that tickles your fancy, head on over to Yum Yum Podcast as well.
Next episode should be, I think, at the same time as the Meg episode.
Yeah,
Thereabouts.
the Meg will be here to snack on you, give you a little nom nom.
The Meg and the Paul Meg.
The one thing I know about the Meg, we definitely have someone that starred in the movie. Rainn Wilson's in the Meg. Rainn Wilson, star of My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, right.
He was his asshole friend in My Super Ex-Girlfriend, like his loser friend that pervades the movie.
It's been too long.
All right.
He was in Juno, right?
Yes, he was in Juno.
Yeah.
He had your favorite line.
Yeah.
I like that you thought of the iconic Juno, and I thought of My Super Ex-Girlfriend, one of our favorite superhero films we've ever covered on the pod.
Weirdly enough, I did think of it the other day, but I just could not remember Rainn Wilson in it.
No, time to watch it again.